Hello, good afternoon, and welcome, namaste, to Queen's Curry Kitchen, my little tiny kitchen in Queens, where we make curry. Now, today we are not making curry, but what we are making is everybody's favorite, samosas. If you had any Indian friends growing up, this is one snack that you have probably enjoyed. At odd times of the day, you might have enjoyed it with chai, you might have enjoyed it in your life. So there are many ways to do this, and today I'm going to show you the easiest way to actually wrap and fold a samosa. Most people are actually very scared of the process, and trust me, I also do not like to make the dough from scratch. It is a short crust dough that does require a certain level of expertise, and I don't enjoy doing that. So what I do is I use a lazy hack, and what I do use are these spring roll wrappers. I cannot tell you how many varieties of fillings I have done in the past, and I've put everything in it, right from chicken to chipotle chicken to minced chicken, minced lamb, cauliflower, cabbage. I've put dal in it. I've put potatoes, of course. So today I'm going to do the classic potato and pea samosa, and I'm going to use these, which are actually sheets of puff pastry. Now, I've made the filling ahead of time, and basically what it is just boiled potatoes, and then you peel them and allow them to cool, and then you give them a tempering of, so you heat oil in a pan, you add a little bit of cumin seeds, a little bit of grated ginger, turmeric, coriander seeds, and that's it. And a little bit of paprika. I've added paprika, and then you actually break your boiled potatoes onto it. Do not cut it with a knife, because cutting a boiled potato makes it hard. So throw them into the pan, saute them for a minute till all the moisture evaporates. Add a little bit of lemon juice for that tang and that little kick, and you're good to go. And you have to cool the filling completely before you actually start filling them into the puff pastry. You also need a little glass of water and a pastry brush, because this is the glue that will seal the pockets closed. So we're going to do a classic pocket samosa. So if this is the I would say the Indian version of a hot pocket. What I've done is the sheet actually comes twice this size, and I've taken a pizza cutter and run it and cut it in half. So what I do is I take two sheets. These are 2 plies, right? Hey Ruby, Cholesho, we are going to eat samosa together. That would be really nice. Hi Neelam, welcome to Queen's Curry Kitchen. So I have 2 plies like this. I have 2 more like this. And you know, these are really thin sheets, and you want your samosa to be really nice and crunchy. Oh my God, I've even done a crab samosa actually for somebody, believe it or not. And it tasted bomb. I've done them with tuna. I've done them with a combination of tuna and chickpeas. I've done all kinds of samosas. You name it, I've done it. So we're going to take the water, and if you like to paint, you're going to dip it, and I'm going to show you the simplest way to fold this. So you're going to just put water right in the middle, and then you're going to take your 2 plies. So these are 2 sheets, right? These are 2, and then these are also 2. One gets really too thin, so you don't want anything to be falling out. And you're going to press it down very gently. So that's the glue right there. And then right in the middle, so you have this square where everything is kind of, these are 4 plies right in the middle. So we are going to make the most of that. This is where the maximum strength is, right? So you will fill this pocket. You can put cheese in here. You can put, you can do a classic Italian style samosa. You can put beans in it. You can put corn in it. I mean, you know, go all out. Like, do whatever you want to do, right? So here you go. So you're going to put a bit of the filling. And the good thing with the potato is that it's quite spicy. I mean, it's quite starchy. So if you feel like it's running all over the place, to get a better control, you just need to press this mound so it's not going to go anywhere. And you see, this is that empty space. So I'm going to go in and fill it in. You can do it with or without the peas. I personally love the peas. I've also done like a broccoli and cheese one. Oh my God, that thing is so heavenly. Okay, so if you're a fan of Hot Pocket, this is the original Desi Indian Hot Pocket. Okay, I'm just going to shift it a little bit because I feel like it's too much on one side. So I'm just going to shift it down a little bit. Okay, so give it a little gentle dab. And then you're going to go in with your pastry brush again. if you feel, and depending on the weather, sometimes just water may not work, and you might need to make a paste of just regular flour with water to seal the samosas, and that's fine too. So just brush all the corners. So you're making this plus formation and you're brushing all the edges now, right? So bring in the lower one first and meet it in the middle, like so. Press it down. See, like if it's a dry day, then it might not stick, so you're gonna need the flour. If it's a humid day, sometimes you can get away with just the water. So press, see, it's like super dry. So I guess I'm just gonna have to go back and forth a few times. And then I'm gonna go and put water on these edges as well. Bring them in, and just make sure that you overlap it. So make it a tight pocket and then overlap it like this. Press it down. The oil is really super duper hot. Okay, press it down and then put a little pressure on it so it's not going to unfurl, it's not going to fall apart. And then when you see, you can see these flaps. You see these little flaps? So you want to seal these as well, otherwise the oil goes in there, and that's not, you don't want a mouthful of oil, right? So we are going to go in there, gonna press this, and we're gonna go in here. So press any loose flaps or ends that you see, just press those down. I think mine is just super dry, so it's just like really sucking up all the moisture. A good tip is that when you're working with this sheet, actually take this and cover it with like a wet tea towel, or get a wet sheet of Bounty and squeeze the water out and then cover these, because they like to be moist, they don't like to be dry. So I'm just gonna brush it quickly and leave it so that it gets a little rehydrated. So yeah, this pocket may not last, it'll probably open up very quickly, only because I let it sit out for too long and I did not cover it. So please bear with me. This is the magic of real live cooking, right? This is not the magic of TV where something is already pre-fried and made and you just like get in there and be like, oh, look, I did it, right? So I'm just gonna have to refold these as well. Actually, what, I'm gonna try a little cornstarch and see if I can make a little paste with it, like a little slurry, so maybe it'll go faster. So I'm gonna take this and I will add a little cornstarch. So you can use regular flour or you can use cornstarch, whatever you have is fine. So cornstarch just helps to, bind it in better. It needs a little more water. Let's make a little glue, so it almost looks like Elmer's glue for food, right? Okay, so samosas are, I think, one of the most underrated snacks. It's a labor of love, especially if you do the crust from scratch and knead the dough and then fill it in and make those perfect triangles. I think it's just really undervalued and underrated. And when you ask somebody how much they're willing to pay for a samosa, it's not that much. But trust me, samosa is the hot dog of Indian food. It's like at every street corner, at every sweet shop, you get samosas. There's no life without samosa. And I think in the north of India, it's mostly samosa and bread pakora. So there's a fritter that they make out of bread, which, you know what, usually it does not take this long. So please don't let me fool you into thinking that it's going to be an all-day thing to make one samosa. It is not. And what I do is, when I see that it's coming together nicely, I actually put them in the fridge for a few minutes, and that just helps to stabilize the gluten in the sheets. Then it's really easy to fry. So before frying anything, if you just put it in the fridge for a few seconds, it just makes your life a little easier. Okay, so just gonna show it some love. There are still some loose flaps that are sticking out. So believe it or not, a friend of mine who already knows I'm making this texted me and told me that when you come to my house after this, can you bring me some? So news travels fast. You can even do this with like leftover vegetables or leftover, I've even had people who fill in like lo mein and stuff in it, and it tastes really good actually, believe it or not. Okay, so we are going to increase the heat because we're trying to get in there, in and out. I don't want to keep you here all day. You'll be like, well, it's dinner time. Why are we eating samosas right now? I don't know. Is there a time for samosas? I think any time is a good time for samosas, right? Yeah. Okay, so you can actually test it by sticking in a piece of dough and you'll know that it's frying up. So it should be bubbling. Lower it gently and turn up the heat, right? And then don't mess with it too much. You have to cook it at high heat and you have to keep an eye on it. You could even do this with puff pastry sheets, except that it soaks up a lot of oil and then it becomes very oily. So the sheets themselves become just super oily, and that's not a cool feeling. But if you must, then you must, right? Maybe I'll make one more while I'm at it. I have my tea brewing over there, so I will have my masala chai and I will have my samosas. Have you ever tried to make samosas? I know that in Ramadan a lot of people make a whole batch of samosas and you freeze them. So if you're looking to freeze samosas, you can make a huge batch of filling, and then you make your samosas, you fold them, and then you put them on a baking sheet with parchment paper and freeze the whole sheet individually. Once they have taken up some kind of shape after being in the freezer for a couple of hours, you can take out the samosas, you can fill them in a box, you can put them in a Ziploc bag, whatever you want to do, you can do. And then that way, whenever you feel like eating a samosa, you don't have to do the hard work again and again. It's just ready to go. Okay, so I have this one which I'm going to make. And I'm going to make it really moist because this thing is, poor thing is so parched. There is no right or wrong way to do it. This is probably the easiest samosa fold that you'll ever learn. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. And it needs to be nice and golden. So it's still going to take a couple of minutes more on this side. The good thing with using the sheets of spring roll pastry is that it's always crisp and the inside is not raw. Usually when you fry samosas, you have to do them at a low to medium heat, because you want to cook the insides first and then color the outside. But this actually is perfect. It does not change anything. It actually is great because you can still have the crispness of it. It can be really quick. You can also bake these and you can air fry them as well. So if you haven't tried that, you totally should. Okay, so this is it. We are done. So this is the original Indian Hot Pocket, right? That's what it looks like. And it's super crispy. You can hear it. You hear that? Yeah, and then you just let it sit for a second. So it's super crisp. It's full of potatoey and pea goodness. You can make it as spicy or as light as you want it. I usually serve it with Thai sweet chili sauce, or then, you know, the traditional tamarind chutney or the green chutney, which is just so important in all Indian snacks and appetizers. So that's my samosa right here. That's my chai in the kettle, and I'm going to boot off. But if you enjoyed this video, I hope you're going to give this a try, and I hope you're going to make it in your kitchen. The original Hot Pocket demo comes to an end with this. If you'd like to take a class where you want to learn about how to make samosas with different fillings, you can go to www.queenscurrykitchen.com. It's all there. And you can also order spices or my cookbook or anything to make your life or make your journey to Indian food easier. I will guarantee you that you will get Indian food in a New York minute if you just spend the time following my tutorials, taking my class. I'm happy for whatever time that you can spend with me here, because I totally enjoy sharing this gift with you. Like always, be blissful, be flavorful. I will see you again tomorrow in another one, and that's going to be real soon. Until then, be good, be safe out there, eat well, keep it crunchy, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye, take care.